Now, your NHIF account has been migrated to the Social Health Authority. This is a message that a lot of Kenyans were getting yesterday as the process of registering Kenyans on the new Social Health Authority continues here in the country. But with this, a lot of questions have been raised in issues to do with data protections. What laws have been violated, with Kenyans coming out to say, I did not consent to this. So tonight, we are getting into the details of this to try and understand whether your right for privacy has been violated without your consent. I'll be speaking to Amit Gadia, who is a data protection and a data protection lawyer, to get to understand this particular conversation here tonight. But first, top stories tonight. On Evening Edition tonight, the High Court declines to stop Friday's public participation on the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua. The fate of over 120,000 university students hangs in the balance after the High Court suspended the new university funding model until a case filed challenging it is heard and determined.
We are seeing a lot of shenanigans, impeachment of people, impeachment, but they are not talking about education. They are not talking about the things that concern people.
Also tonight, Moi University closed indefinitely following a prolonged strike by lecturers and other workers over delayed salaries and implementation of CBA agreements.
We need to be able to now talk about justice for this young man. I have done my part as a citizen, as a person who has been mentioned.
And Mombasa Governor Abdul Somad Sharif Nasir surrenders to the Directorate of Criminal Investigations to record a statement in connection with the abduction and sexual assault of a Mombasa blogger. All right, remember, you can be part of the program by engaging us on our socials. At Amuai Brian, that is on X at K24 TV. The hashtag we are using tonight is K24 Evening Edition. Do tell us where you're watching us from, what you think about the stories we're running today, and also the conversation that we'll be having later on about your data protection and whether you feel like your rights have been infringed upon as far as privacy is concerned. Our sign language interpreter tonight is Clement Muli. Now, let's begin. Now, the Ministry of Education has been dealt a major blow following the High Court suspension of the new university funding model until a case filed challenging it is heard and determined. As Bentura Kwamboka reports, despite the court's decision to halt the model, concerns have been raised about how over 120,000 students who have already joined institutions of higher learning will be funded.
Chacha Mwita today issued conservatory orders suspending the implementation of the new education funding model. The orders were given in a petition filed by the Kenya Human Rights Commission, the Elimu Bora Working Group, and two other petitioners who challenged the model, arguing that it discriminates against students, potentially locking thousands out of higher education. The decision has been welcomed by students who argue that the model is discriminatory despite it being touted as a way to provide quality and equitable university education.
The model is discriminatory, it is not inclusive, they have not considered a lot of factors. Our government does not have measures to determine the situation, the financial situation of every comrade, and hence this system is very discriminatory. So we welcome the decision of the High Court.
Nobody wants this new funding model. Everybody rejected it. Everybody wanted us to remain with the old funding model.
Hakuna venye utakuja class, mtu anajua tu ni wabandwa, you're the most needy, alafu uingie usome uko equal and with everyone else. You know, you see the first purpose of education is to bring equality kwa community. Hakuna equity.
However, some stakeholders have expressed concerns that the suspension could cause confusion regarding how education of over 120,000 students who have already reported to universities will be funded.
The High Court ruling at the moment will be a great disservicing to the student, because we are not sure whether they are going back to the old funding model or it will be hanging. Then also we saw the CS saying that all students are supposed to report to schools and they also sit for the exams. And the main question should be, where are the university going to get all these funds for accommodation, for lecturers' payment, also for examination, and so on and so on. And my greatest question was, what was the hurry for? Why do we need this education system?
Justice Mwita noted that the case was long overdue due to the delays of the Attorney General, Education CS, and the Kenya Universities and College Central Placement Service in filing their submissions. The respondents have been given 14 days to submit their filings. The new education funding model has faced criticism from both parents and students, with concerns about its practicality. Many argue that the model's lack of feasibility could hinder improvement to the education system. Under the model, students are grouped into 5 categories based on their financial needs determined through a means testing instrument. Last month, Education Cabinet Secretary Julius Ugamba formed 2 committees to address the issues raised about the new university funding model. These committees were tasked with reviewing the status of its implementation and making recommendations for improvement. On October 13, 2024, the Kenya Human Rights Commission, alongside the Elimu Bora Working Group, Boaz Waruku and the Student Caucus, filed a case against the model, arguing that it will exclude thousands of students from accessing funds. The case is again set to be heard on December 16th this year, when submissions will be highlighted. Bentura Komboka, K24.
Still on matters education, Moi University has been closed indefinitely following student unrest today, sparked by a prolonged lecturer strike at the institution. Now, through an internal memo dated October 3rd, students were ordered to vacate all campuses until further notice, as the industrial action by lecturers and non-academic staff entered its second month. Timothy Simwa reports.
After 5 weeks of industrial action that has ground to a halt all activities at Moi University, students have been ordered to go home.
Comrades, we are not going home. We are here. Today has just been the first leg of our mandamano. Tomorrow morning we'll be here.
According to an internal memo signed by Vice Chancellor Professor Isaac Kosgei, it remains unclear when they'll be recalled. What is clear, however, is that students must vacate all campuses and school hostels immediately.
We are seeing a lot of shenanigans, impeachment of people, but they are not talking about education. They are not talking about the things that concern people. So what you are saying is that we are going to picket tomorrow and we will be here and our voices are going to be heard. We have just been told that now our school has been closed down, we are going to be twende nyumbani. Comrades, power!
Frustrated by a prolonged lecturers and workers' strike, students came out today to demonstrate. The memo only fueled their anger, turning the demonstrations into chaotic scenes. At the Moi University main campus, police engaged in running battles with the angry students, and the situation quickly escalated into destructive confrontation.
I'm very hungry, I'm very bitter, I'm very embarrassed for staying in school for 6 weeks. I have paid rent for 4 months here in Moi University. I have paid half of the school fees, and today Moi University niambia niende nyumbani. My dad alichukua loan kunileta shule. Niliuza mahindi nyumbani, nikakuja shule. Wananiambia nirudi nyumbani, nilikuja na mahindi. Narudi na mahindi nyumbani.
As Moi University comrades, we want to go back to class. We have paid full fees, some of us have paid rent. We want to go back to class. We want the lecturers to be paid. We are not interested in who is being the VC or who is not being the VC. What we want is to go back to class.
The frustration was no different at Moi University Annex campus, where police blocked students from marching to town, leading to clashes between the two sides.
Professor Kosgei is a product of tribalism. What has been bedeviling this institution is tribalism. Because Sudi and Mandago came to the institution when I was in second year and they chased Lapa Nairo. Yes. During the time of Lapa Nairo, we witnessed tremendous development in Moi University, particularly the School of Law complex was completed in 1 year. Yes. So I want to say, if they came to chase Professor Lapa Nairo, they are also welcome to chase Professor Kosgei. Yes. Professor Kosgei must go.
Lecturers have been relentless in pushing the institution to address a litany of demands, among them payment of salaries on time. As the impasse persists, it's not clear for these students when they'll be recalled, as they lament wasted time and resources. Timothy Simwa, K24 TV.
Now to matters politics, efforts by Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua to stop Parliament from processing an impeachment motion against him have once again hit a wall as fresh legal challenges to halt the public participation exercise scheduled for tomorrow have failed. Gachagua argues that the 11 grounds for his removal are based on shaky and dangerous legal and procedural foundations, threatening key principles of good governance, procedural fairness and fair administration. Joel Chacha reports on his latest failed attempts to block tomorrow's public participation exercise.
Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua is a man with sleepless nights casting his hopes on the justice system to prevent his removal from office. A record 10 cases have been lodged in various courts in the country, seeking to block Parliament from considering an impeachment motion tabled by Kibwezi West Member of Parliament Mwingi Mutuse. In a petition through his lawyer Victor Swanya at the Milimani courts, Gachagua wanted the impeachment motion against him to be suspended until the hearing and determination of his case. However, this request was denied. Gachagua argues that 11 grounds for his impeachment are built on unstable and legally questionable foundations. His close ally Kirinyaga County MP Jen Jerry Maina also challenged the public participation exercise scheduled for tomorrow, arguing that the notice was too short and ineffective. However, attempts to block it have also faced setbacks. The courts have so far declined all the petitions challenging the process, a move that exposes Gachagua to a possible ouster as calls for him to resign are being sustained.
You need to make up his mind whether to go the full hog and gamble, or maybe when Parliament maybe makes a decision that or passes the motion with 233 members of Parliament, after it has been taken to Senate, he has a room to be able to resign.
The National Assembly today suspended its afternoon sittings, paving way for MPs to travel to their various constituencies for the public participation exercise. In Meru County, where Interior CS K24 TV is seen as a potential replacement for Gachagua, the motion is receiving backing.
Meru wamekaa ngangari wakiwa wanangojea, ukibandilisa usibandilisa na mwingine ni Kithure Kindiki, yeye ni anaweza hiyo kazi ya naibu wa rais.
Similar sentiments in President William Ruto's backyard of Nandi County. Reactions have been mixed, with some politicians supporting the motion while residents remain divided.
Wakati wa uchaguzi tuliwachagua wote wawili. Sasa kama ni impeachment, waimpeachiwe wote wawili waende nyumbani.
Bwana, hii serikali imekuwa ni impeachment kila mahali. Mara governor wa Nandi anataka kuimpeachiwa, mara Kericho impeachment, deputy president impeachment.
Vyema aimpeachiwe kabisa. Asurita na kuwa deputy president tena.
Joel Chacha, K24 TV, Nairobi.
All right, Jubilee Party has won again, this time at Labour and Employment Court, which family placed retired President Uhuru Kenyatta at the helm of the party leadership. Now, the court declared that officials are in contravention of the law by holding state jobs and party positions. Following the court order renegade officials from the party, led by Chairman Nelson Zia, and 6 others will be forced to relinquish one of the 2 positions. Martin Opio reports.
Days after the Jubilee Party celebrated the court's decision to quash the resolution of Kanini Sabina Chege meeting that ousted the Kioni faction, the party is on another winning streak. The Employment and Labour Court has declared that the renegade party officials who were awarded government jobs and still clinging to party positions were contravening the law. The court ordered that Chairman Nelson Zuya, who was appointed to head the NGO Coordination Board, and 6 others to decide which the appointment within the government. In the case, Joseph Kagai, through lawyer Jackson Awele, petitioned the Employment and Labour Courts on ground that 7 members of the Jubilee Party were operating as party officials while still holding government positions contrary to the provision of the laws under Article 232 subsection 2B of the 2010 Constitution, Section 23 of Leadership and Integrity Act, and Section 12 of the Political Parties Act. In her ruling, Justice Janet Mulwa concurred with Awele, saying the 7 cannot hold public office in state corporations while being party officials. While the 7 are expected to choose between government and party positions, it appears that the retired President Uhuru Kenyatta will have the opportunity to firmly control the party, ending months of party infighting. Martin Opio, K24.
Now, the push and pull between Kericho Governor Eric Mutai and the County Assembly continued today, with the governor obtaining court orders barring the Senate and the Senate Speaker Amason Kingi from receiving, acting on or debating the County Assembly's resolution to impeach him. On the other hand, Senate Speaker Amason Kingi has confirmed receiving the Assembly's resolution to remove Governor Mutai from office.
Between embattled Governor Eric Mutai and the Kericho County Assembly escalated yesterday as 31 out of 47 members voted to impeach him despite a court order barring the process.
By the time we schedule this business and commence at the sitting, this has not been brought to our attention, and therefore we cannot be able to continue discussing about the court order. And now I throw back the ball to you. You have a choice to continue with the defense of the governor, or you stick by the court order that you have alluded that it is there.
The clerk has shown you the order, and so if we are to proceed, we will be proceeding against the background that you, Mr. Speaker, with the greatest respect, have received the order, but you are electing to disregard it to the extent to which it asks you to suspend, stay, debate, consideration, and acting on the motion tabled on 23rd and moved on 24th.
The Assembly, through its Speaker Patrick Mutai, went ahead to present its resolution to the Senate, with Speaker Amason Kingi acknowledging receipt.
I received documents from the County Assembly of Kericho on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of Honorable Dr. Eric Mutai, the Governor of Kericho County. At an appropriate time, I will communicate the message received from the Kericho County Assembly on the proposed removal from office by impeachment of the Governor of Kericho County.
Governor Eric Mutai's political future now hangs in the balance, as the decision on his fate will either rest with the Senate or the judiciary. Today, the Senate Speaker confirmed the receipt of documents for the impeachment motion of Kericho County Governor. This despite the governor receiving court orders stopping the Senate or the Senate Speaker from receiving or debating the motion in the Senate. Rehab Kinuthia, K24 TV, Kericho County.
All right, that story takes us to a fast break here on K24 Evening Edition. But do stay put, because when we come back, we'll be having a conversation here in studio about data protection and how your rights have been infringed upon with migration from HIF to SHA. I'll be speaking to Amit Gadia on this particular matter when we come back. All right, we take a break. We'll be back in a few.
As the sun